Want a business you love that pays you well? Want a lifestyle where you can do what you want, when you want? Then you are in the right spot. It's time to overcome online overwhelm with OnlineMasterPlanSeries.com. Here's your host and one of the OMS mentors, Laura Waage.
Heather, I think people might laugh if they actually heard the way that we vent offline when we're not recording ourselves.
Yes.
Because one of the common frustrations that we have recently had is the fact that there are all of these people out there that ask for our help. And then when you give them the help, some people come back with excuses and some people come back with results. Mm-hmm. And the ones that are willing to say, you know what, there's always going to be hurdles, but I'm results driven and I'm going to find a way to make it work. Those are the top 10% that we see be successful. That's Unfortunately, right. The majority of them are not successful because their excuses outweigh the results.
Or they're doing too many busy work items that are never going to get them results. I'll even add to that.
Absolutely. So I would love it if you would share an insider tip that you use for keeping yourself results focused and making sure that you don't let those excuses get in your way.
So basically, I look at the different tasks or items and I ask an internal question to myself, what is this doing for my business? Now, if I specifically do not have the answer, such as it's bringing in revenue, it's supporting my team, it's building a system, it's growing my brand, if I actually have no idea what it's doing, I can't answer the question, then I revert to the measurement of that particular item. So why can't I answer that question? Number one, either I'm not measuring it properly. And when I say measuring, there's lots of different ways of measuring, of course. Like if it's a website, you'd measure with your analytics, your statistics. If it's with your team or your systems, you'd obviously measure with efficiency and if things are getting done quicker. So you ask, look for the measurement. And if you can't measure it, then I look at how do I set up a measurement around this? And by the time I get to that sort of process in my mind, I think, okay, well, if I can't measure it, or if I don't even know how to measure it, I should just get rid of it. And there are certain items actually in my business right now that I am getting rid of because of that exact same reason. I have not found a result or benefit of doing it. And so therefore, why should I continue to do it? So you got to start at the beginning and say, what specifically is this doing for my business? And what I would say, Laura, is this bringing in revenue? But I think it's actually more than that, especially as you're growing a business, you're also growing your team and your staff and your branding. So what specifically is this doing for my business is where you start.
Such great input and so important for people to really think through what you just shared. As you know, I do it in a slightly different but similar way where I ask myself, is what I'm doing right now driving me closer to or further away from my goals?
It's great.
And based on what my goals are, I pick my top 3 tasks for any given day. So they're like 3 mini goals driving me towards my larger goal. But here's where it's a little bit different for me, because when I did that and when I started doing that every single day consistently, and I've done this for a few years now, but I always wind up with things that I put on that list that day after day after day are never in my top 3. So when I see that something has gone 3, 4, 5 days on my list and has never made it to the top 3, then that tells me either A, I need to just get rid of it altogether, or B, I need to delegate it to somebody else.
Great way of looking at it. And the thing is that I know this seems easier said than done for a lot of us listening right now. And I find that in the moments of overwhelm, we fill our time with things that just allow us to stay busy and never actually take a quick moment to ask these questions that Laura just brought up and I brought up, because it's not always easy in the moments of overwhelm when you're growing a business. But if you continue to stay overwhelmed and keep doing this cycle of just staying busy, you're going to wake up 1 year from now and really not have a business or anything that's grown because you've stayed in that repetitive cycle.
Yeah, we've heard it over and over, and I hate to use something that is so cliche, but it is true. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
That's right.
And I love the way you just phrased it, because people will wake up a year from today and their business will be the exact same or even worse, but certainly no better if they do not implement these changes so that what they do in a day is driving their business instead of holding it back.
That's it for this episode. Don't let your next promising idea stop dead in its tracks because your overwhelm gets in the way. You need our free tips. Head on over to overcomeonlineoverwhelm.com now.